Hi, my name is Rob Lee, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today you are watching episode 2 of Doodle Box. And for those of you who are joining for the first time, Doodle Box is a series where I take 3 random post-it notes and combine them together to create an illustration on my iPad. The 3 post-it notes are from 3 different categories. The first is an animal, the second is a job, and the third is a thing. So, without further ado, let's see what today has in store for us and what I can come up with. Alright, well it's time to get started and pick out some creative prompts. So I'm going to look for a yellow animal post-it note. I'll grab this one over here. Next one will be a job, so I'm looking for an orange one. I think I'll dig into this one here. And finally, for the green object, let's go and grab something that's over here on the side. Okay, well let's work from right to left this time. Let's start with the thing. So let's see what we have here. Okay, we have seesaw for the job in the orange in the middle. We have police officer, and for the yellow post-it note for animal we have panda. Great combination. Let's see what we can come up with. So as per last time, I'm going to start with some sketches to do a few different thumbnails and different directions before moving into a finished piece. So I'm experimenting with a few different ways to portray a seesaw, starting with a very basic side-on view of a panda and a policeman sitting on one. Then I started to think about some creative ways that I could use the panda potentially as the balancing of the wooden beam itself. Maybe thinking about some different scale. What if the panda was holding the seesaw in his hands and he was standing in a bamboo forest for some visual interest as well? Something that occurred to me is that the seesaw doesn't have to necessarily be a seesaw, and I decided to take some creative liberty to maybe integrate the theme of justice and police officers, and perhaps it's actually a scale instead that can be balancing the panda and police officer. I briefly looked at a close-up image of a panda investigating a crime scene involving a seesaw, but I thought that actually that didn't really leave me with a lot of creative options. So I went back to the seesaw idea, playing with some different poses that I could set up the pandas to stand or to balance in, but I couldn't sort of avoid the urge to use the scales as the primary picture for this. Here I am doing a more refined sketch base outline that I can paint on top of. So starting to use bamboo as the primary structure that's holding up this scales, and having the 2 pandas dressed as police officers on either side of that in equilibrium. Again, I am using the dry ink brush within Procreate, as it just has a very nice way of creating simple shapes and textures without being too fussy. What I like about Procreate 2 is you can see just adjusting some of the different sizes of specific elements and making sure that the sketch lay underneath here provides me with enough information and direction to start adding color. Something nice that I like to do in Procreate is to mask out some of the different areas and add a few different texture brushes to very quickly create some depth and shadow using a very simple color palette to display the scene. So mostly greens and browns for the bamboo and the structure, and leaving the pandas pretty much in black and white. So I'm not going to add any other colors to their uniforms or to their actual shape and form. There are some pretty crazy facts about pandas that I thought I might take this opportunity to share. An adult panda weighs between 95 to 130 kilograms, and it eats anywhere between 18 to 38 kilograms of bamboo in a day. And as you can imagine, it takes quite some time. They spend nearly 14 hours of a day eating bamboo. And you might ask yourself, well, if it goes in, how much of it comes out? Turns out that an adult panda can poo around 28 kilograms per day. And any undigested bamboo were traditionally made into picture frames or bookmarks. So very thrifty and very resourceful. Here's another interesting fact about pandas. As we know, pandas have both black and white fur on their body, and underneath the parts of their fur which is black, their skin is also black, and under the parts of the fur which is white, their skin is actually pink. Well, I'm pretty much done, and there you have it. We're at the end of another episode of Doodle Box. This was episode 2, using a panda, a police officer, and seesaw as our creative prompts for this illustration. I hope you enjoyed watching this episode, and if you liked it, please hit subscribe to keep up to date with new videos as I upload them to this channel. Leave your comments in the section below. Let me know what you think, if you have any ideas of things that you want to see more of, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching, and see you soon.